Welcome to Nicknames 35.
I used to play football in the UK with a striker who our coach had nicknamed Jigsaw because he used to fall apart in the box. The old man is a bloody good rooster. However, he used to have the nickname 1080 because nobody likes him, but he gets the job done. My mate Steve was telling us that he used to be a trampoline/tumbling champion as a youngster. He proved it by showing us all video evidence. There he was, bouncing around in his black lycra leotard. From that day forward, he's been known as Leotardo de Trampio.
Oh, that is one of the greats.
When I used to work at DC, we had a manager who was bald and has a fair few wrinkles on his head. When he'd get angry and start flapping his arms around. One of the boys nicknamed him the skinned pigeon. Had a buddy that got caught short on the way home from the pub, so he went behind a car dealership across the road, sat on a pile of tyres and took a cack. We call him Dumplop.
Dumplop.
I call my mate's wife the Spanner. That's because every time I see her, she makes my nuts go tight.
Oh my God.
Another one here. Over here in Melbourne, there's an electrician who loves bloody Elton John. He's always listening to him full noise on site. The lads nicknamed him Socket Man.
That's good.
And finally, I have a non-life-threatening tremor, which makes small detailed jobs like being a surgeon effing impossible. One of the lads I work with calls me Caboose. Caboose is the last carriage on a train, and it's renowned for shaking and rattling all over the train tracks.
Oh my God, ruthless, mate. We have just nicknamed our new apprentice at work RC. It stands for remote control because if you're not driving him, he's doing F all. The first one is for a mate of mine who rides motorbikes and has a bad habit of holding on to the bike as it crashes. We call him Black Pearl, as the captain always goes down with the ship. My partner used to work with a guy they called Creeping Jesus. Didn't look like Jesus, short, balding, and solid build with glasses. But he was a quiet walker. You'd be standing there working away and turn around and Jesus! He'd be standing right there and you'd never hear the prick walking up to you.
Jesus.
It's a hell of a nickname. Worked with a guy who was annoyed us all the time, so we nicknamed him FPOS, extremely fat piece of shit. Thanks, Peter Casey. Oh, God. That's good for the soul. Welcome to Nickname Volume 36. My dad worked with someone who was nicknamed Narnia because they had hair like a lion, a face like a witch, and with the size of a wardrobe. Our sales rep at work has earned the nickname The Speedboat from one of our customers. I asked them why, and he said, no sales. So I used to work with a guy named Speed Bump. All he would do is slow you down and piss you off. We call our neighbour Noah because he has a boat on the driveway, and the only time it will ever see the water is if there is a biblical flood.
These are great. There's a lot of reappropriation for these to people that you know.
Played Gaelic football with a guy called Chili. When I asked why he was called Chili, he said because his dad's name is Concarne. I used to call my old boss Nappy because he was always on my ass and full of shit. So good.
I used to deliver and install gym equipment, some of which was very heavy. A lad who I was lifting some of said equipment with one day dropped a squat machine on my foot and it painfully broke it. He became known as Fortnite because he was too weak. Our site foreman who plays in a rock covers band at the weekends and is so anal about things being perfect that he always delays our projects by obsessing over everything. His nickname is OCDC. We have a guy at work we call the milkman because instead of doing anything constructive for 10 hours, he just milks the boss's wallet. And I work with a guy called the cockroach because he gets into every crack around town, lives on rubbish, and he's had 4 strokes and he's still going. But I'm a skydiver in the UK. I knew a bloke about 10 years ago known as Double Dump Dave. The morning after a huge night out on a hot curry, he went for a skydive. After an uneventful free fall, he dumped out his main parachute. It opened abnormally hard, and hence, so too did his bowels. His first name wasn't even Dave.
Double dump.
There you have it. We think we're done. Every time we think we're done,
Oh, man.
we get a bloody OCDC.
Welcome to Nickname Volume 37, baby!
Fellas, my boss at work who has a bit of a gammy leg and walks kind of side on, so his nickname is the Bishop because he can only move in diagonals.
Like a game of chess.
Played cricket in Queensland with a guy called Mark. One night on the steam, he got blind drunk and ended up staying at the club captain's house to sleep it off. That night, a little unfamiliar with his surroundings, he took a massive shit on the carpet in the bedroom, wiped his ass on the floor. From that moment, he was known as, you guessed it, the Skid Mark. We have a guy at work who always takes forever to compute what is being said to him. Because of this, we call him the Internet Explorer because he's always buffering. I used to work with a fella who was 5'0", used to wear skin-tight t-shirts, had teeth like a row of broken bottles, and had a skinhead, so we called him Vin Weasel. Worked with a guy who had a hunchback. His nickname was Base Jumper because it looked like he had his parachute strapped to him. Well, not mine.
I work for a company, and a lot of the time we can work away. There's a guy who won't stay in hotels as it costs too much, so he lives in his van the whole job. His nickname is Nelson Van Dweller. One of my bricklayers on our site has a big ass, so he gets called Bricky Minaj. We have an apprentice that we've nicknamed Control-Alt-Delete because when you ask him to do more than one task, he gives you a blank stare like the task manager that comes up when not responding. We used to work with a bloke who never turned up on Mondays. He soon became known as the Boomtown Rat. We have a guy in town we call Picasso Man because his face looks like it's made up of completely different mouths and noses. Nice. Time for nickname, volume 38.
You go, mate.
Okay, I'll go. When I was younger over here in Scotland, I knew a guy who tried to singe his eyebrows with a match for some stupid reason and ended up burning his eye. He had to get a skin graft from his ass to fix it, so he got the nickname Captain Bum-Eye. We know a guy that's not overly bright but is as strong as an ox, so we call him the Fridge because he can't spell it but he can lift it. My mate's dad's nickname is Blockhead because when he was in a fight when he was younger, he was getting belted and one of his mates yelled, "You're not supposed to block the punches with your head, mate." We had a temp at work filling in for a couple of months. His nickname was McRib, only here for a limited time.
That is a good one.
I call my wife the pregnancy scare because she's always running late. I bet he's never called it to her face.
Rightio, buckle in. We have a lad at work who's white and as pale as you can get, so we call him the unseasoned chicken drumstick.
G'day, mate. This is the unseasoned chicken drumstick. Yeah, must be you.
Rolls off the tongue, eh? There's a bloke at work with the nickname Ovlov. It's because he cycled headfirst into the back of a parked Volvo. Ovlov. We used to have an apprentice here who was 4 foot piss all and didn't exactly move fast. So his nickname was Brisket because he was low and slow. My mate's nickname is Diamond because no matter how hard he tries, he's always every girl's best friend. We have a guy that works for us that has a dodgy ticker, so we call him Billy Ray because he has an achy, breaky heart. Great. And finally, my mate from Aberdeen in Scotland had his leg amputated after a motorcycle accident, and now he gets called Hopscotch. Holy shit. The best yet? I'm saying the best yet.